that the market is oversaturated, and probably more oversaturated on the upper end or the medium to upper end than on the lower end. Real estate is an old sector for us. However, developing freehold for sale is relatively new for us. So we always look at niche. How can we be that niche player? Niche doesn't necessarily mean that we're going out to create the most luxurious or to create something that's overly expensive. In this market, as you know, we're saturated at the upper end. Luxury isn't niche anymore, it's nearly the normal. The market is saturated, so that generally tends to drive sentiment down because people think, well, there's lots of properties, I can sit and wait. There's no need for me to jump in. If I buy it now, I got no guarantees that the value will go up. Which is why our focus is not so much on value, it's on deliverability. So you will see a slowing down of development on the office commercial side. On the light industrial side, there's always a need, and I think it's going to be sustained. It's a slightly healthier market than both residential and commercial. But residential, there's always going to be a need. It's how you position that need and how you position yourself within that need. You touched upon sort of the freehold aspect in Abu Dhabi and the visas. We believe that will drive confidence further. And as the economy strengthens, the supply in the market, the infrastructure is there to allow for that expansion. It's a residential project. It comprises approximately 335 units, all ones and twos. And we have parking podium and retail on the ground floor. The project as a whole has cost us approximately 500 million dirhams. But the project is complete and handover is staggered. I say staggered, it's weeks, 2 weeks, then another 4 weeks, another 6 weeks, it's just basically making sure that once we hand over to the unit, it's in tip-top condition. One major thing that the bank identified, resistance to mortgages being taken, are the deposits. Central bank regulations, and for the right reasons, to try and control the debt market, are too onerous for a lot of people. 25% for expats. A lot of people simply don't have 250,000 plus just to put down on a deposit for a flat. We created a simple product, 50,000 for 1 bedroom, 70,000 for 2 bedroom. It's not rent to own, because it is a funded product rather than just a 3 or 4 year rent to own. So we're not in that market, so to speak, and there are a lot of people who are in that market, and I suspect there'll be a lot more developers entering the rent to own market because it's one pathway they feel they can deliver units to the market. Okay, so Abu Dhabi has a more measured approach to development. Dubai has its own different approach. They both work for their unique status. Yes, at the moment the market is going through a soft cycle. We are oversupplied. What that does do also, I mean, there's silver linings to everything. It creates it reduces the cost base for people to live here. Because if you remember in the upswing in 2008, before the financial crisis, Abu Dhabi and Dubai were always ranking way up there as being some of the most expensive cities to live in. And a big chunk of that was down to housing costs as well. And there are other things. What you've got now is a more measured approach, a more feasible approach to people actively living and working here. Unfortunately, in the UAE, within the foreign community, the expat community, all of us, there's too much wrong perspective, too much hearsay about people thinking, well, what happens if this and what happens and I can't lay down roots and I'm only on a 2-year visa or whatever. I mean, most of it is nonsense because 99.9% of the people never get impacted by anything, but yet people still talk about it. So what the government's done is great because what they're saying is, look, we won't have to sit and prove, because we've proven to you over the past 40, 50 years that this is the safest place within a wide radius. However, here's some more assurances for you. If you've committed to this country and you've contributed in a positive way, we're going to say thank you, we're going to pay back. So the golden visa is fantastic because these, you know, they're handing them out to people who have done so much, who have been an integral part of the development of the economy. The 10-year and the 5-year visas, again, the same thing, albeit all at different levels, but that's understandable.